Goku and Marvel Episode 2. In this episode, Goku will be battling the Black Panther. Let's get to it. Goku crouched atop his pteranodon, the wind whipping around his wild mane of hair as the savage land's dense jungle gave way to the open sky. The world beyond stretched endlessly vast, unknown, and teeming with possibilities. His fingers tightened around the reins of the sinew and hide. His pulse quickened, not from fear but anticipation. Finally, for years, he had trained under Craven's watchful eye, testing himself against the deadliest beasts the savage lands had to offer. But now, a new hunt was about to begin. Somewhere out there were warriors of legends that awaited, fighters who could push him beyond the limits that Craven had instilled within him. His lips curled into a feral grin. Would he find them in the towering cities of men, the hidden temples of warriors, or the war-torn battlefields where only the strong survived? The pteranodon screeched beneath him, sensing his restless energy. Goku patted its scaled neck. "Easy," he murmured, though his own blood sang with the same wild thrill that he had since he took off. Below, the ocean glittered, a mirror to the boundless hunger that was within his eyes. He wasn't just leaving the savage lands, he was stepping into an area where every battle would forge him anew. And the first stop would be Africa, a land of ancient kings, untamed wilderness, and if the whispers were true, it had a true warrior worthy of his hunt. T'Challa stood atop the waterfalls, the weight of the vibranium lace mantle heavy on his shoulders. The ceremonial drum still echoed in his bones, but the grief was sharper. His father T'Chaka was gone, stolen too soon by treachery. Now Wakanda's fate rested in his hands. The elders spoke of tradition. The tribal leaders eyed him, testing his resolve. Even the Dora Milaje were loyal as they were. They still watched for him to have some type of weakness. But T'Challa was no boy any longer. He had trained his entire life for this, and knew this day would come eventually. A king must both be a panther and a diplomat, his father's voice whispered in his memories. He clenched his fist. Wakanda's borders held firm, but shadows gathered beyond them. Enemies who craved vibranium, who saw his nation's isolation as a vulnerability. And now rumors slithered through the intelligence networks that something stirred up in the south. A wild force untethered any nation or creed. T'Challa's gaze hardened. If this was a threat, he would meet it as both a king and a warrior. But first, he was still in mourning. The African coastline welcomed Goku with salt and heat. He guided the pteranodon to a rocky outtop. The beast screeched as it landed. The savage land's musk clung to him. Damp earth, blood, and iron tang of old kills were unacceptable to his nostrils. A hunter must adapt. He stripped off his hide clothing and plunged into the waves. The waters were colder than he expected, scouring away the remnants of his old life. He scrubbed his skin with stone, letting the currents carry away the scent of raptor hides and Craven's potions. When he emerged, dripping, reborn, he inhaled deeply. Africa smelled of dry grass, sun-baked stone, and something else, something alive. His Saiyan instincts flared. This land had teeth, and he intended to bite back. As Goku got back on the shore, an attack came. A blur of tiny fur, a snarl, a rogue lion lunged, thinking that he was vulnerable. But Goku moved faster. His hand snapped up, catching the beast's throat mid-leap. Muscle strained, claws raked his arms, but his grip was ironclad. The lion's golden eyes widened in shock. "Wrong move," Goku growled. With a twist of his hips, he slammed the lion onto its back, pinning it. One hand shifted to his skull, the other to his jaw, and a quick, brutal wrench. Snap! The beast went limp. Goku exhaled, rolling his shoulders. That was a decent warm-up. Craven's lessons echoed in his mind. A hunter's identity is his own, but his trophies tell his story. So Goku knelt beside the fallen lion. Its mane was thick, sun-golden, worthy of remembrance. With his dagger, he worked swiftly, skimming the pelt with the precision Craven had drilled into him. The hide was still warm when he slung it over his shoulders. The mane cascading down his back like a mantle. It felt right. His pteranodon screeched impatiently. Goku smirked, leaped on its back. It's time to go. As they ascended, the wind caught his new cape, billowing behind him like a battle standard. Below the African savannah stretched endlessly, a kingdom of beasts and hidden warriors. Somewhere among them was a king in black vibranium that was waiting. The wind roared Goku's ears as the pteranodon soared over the golden plains, but moving below snapped his attention downward. Two women, tall, bald, their dark skin was gleaming with sweat, sparred with lethal grace outside of a towering city gate. Their strikes were precise, their footwork flawless, every motion a dance of discipline and power. Goku's pose quickened. Finally, some real fighters. Leaning forward, he urged his mount into a dive. The pteranodon shadow swept over the warriors as they halted mid-combat, eyes snapping upward. Goku grinned, raising a hand in greeting. "Hey, you two seem strong," he called, his voice carrying over the wind. The women exchanged glances. Hands drifted towards their spears strapped to their backs. Their expressions were unreadable, but their stance shifted as if they were ready for battle. Perfect, he thought. In the dim glow of his training chamber, T'Challa moved like a liquid shadow. His vibranium-laced gauntlets hummed as he struck a reinforced dummy, each blow a controlled eruption of force. His father's absence was a wound. But Wakanda could not afford a grieving king, only a prepared one. A ruler must be a shield and a spear, his uncle's voice reminded him. He pivoted his foot, lashing out as a spinning kick that sent the dummy crashing to the floor. The Dora Milaje would be patrolling the borders, but something gnawed at him. I guess it was instinct, honed by years of combat. Something was coming, and when it arrived, he would be ready. Goku barely had time to dismount before the warriors were on him. Their spears flashed, a whirlwind of sharpened vibranium, but he dodged them with a laugh, rolling under the first strike and catching the second shaft mid-thrust. "You two are fast," he admitted, twisting the weapon free. The Dora's eyes widened as he flipped over her, landing lightly behind. The second guard lunged, but Goku sidestepped, his elbow gently tapping her ribs, a touch that could have shattered bone if he had wanted it. The woman regrouped, breathing hard. These were elite warriors, trained from birth, yet this wild boy moved like the wind itself. Goku bounced on his toes and used a split kick to knock the two warriors unconscious at the same time. "Impressive." M'Baku, the man-ape, his fur-lined cloak swaying with each step, his gaze locked onto Goku, assessing him. "You fight well, outsider," M'Baku said, arms crossed. "But why come to Wakanda?" Goku tilted his head. "I'm looking to hunt a strong opponent." A slow grin spread across M'Baku's face. M'Baku chuckled, a deep resonant sound. "You seek strength. Then you hunt the wrong prey, boy." He stepped closer, looming over Goku, who was putting his fur cape back in its place. "The Dora Milaje are but the claws of the true beast that rules this land." Goku's eyes gleamed. "Is that right?" "The Black Panther," M'Baku said, savoring the words. "King of Wakanda. A warrior who has never known defeat." Goku's grin turned feral. "Someone worthy to hunt." M'Baku leaned in, voice dropping to a whisper. "But the Panther does not entertain outsiders. Unless," he smirked, "you make him come to you." Goku cracked his knuckles. "How?" "Infiltrate the city and cause a ruckus." The Dora Milaje stirred as they reawoke, but Goku was already turning, his new lined cape flaring behind him, resembling the one that his father had also. "Then I'll go through his gates," M'Baku laughed before telling Goku that he should follow him instead for another way in. M'Baku had taken Goku to his ancestral cave, and spoke in dim torchlight of the cave. Neither noticed the spectral presence watching them from the shadows. The white gorilla spirit, ancient, guardian of the Jabari, loomed in the unseen realm, its glowing eyes fixed on the Saiyan boy. There was something different about this outsider. His energy burned like a wildfire, untamed, unrestrained. Not a disciplined aura like a Wakandan warrior, but something primal and even otherworldly. The spirit's massive form shifted, intrigued. A low rumbling growl echoed through the spiritual plane, unheard by mortal ears. If this child sought the Black Panther, the balance of Wakanda might soon shift, and the white ape would be watching. M'Baku told Goku that through this path he could fly towards the center of this city. Goku's Pteranodon screeched as a sudden blast of purple energy. Wakanda's hidden defense system sent it spiraling. The boy barely had time to curse before he was flung from its back, plummeting toward the shimmering city below. Wind tore at his lion cloak as he twisted mid-air, spotting the sprawling metropolis of Birnin, rushing up to meet him with a grunt. He tucked into a roll and hit the ground hard, skidding across a vibranium-laced street in a cloud of dust. Citizens gasped, scattering as he rose, unarmed and grinning. "Okay," he muttered, cracking his neck. "Now where is this Panther?" Alarms blared, invisible shields flickered to life, and Goku's hunt had officially begun. T'Challa paused mid-strike in the training chamber as the holographic alert flashed before him. A breach, not at the borders, inside the very golden city. "Report," he commanded, wiping sweat from his brow. Dora Milaje's image flickered into view. "My king, a foreign boy, barely more than a child, defeated 2 of our guards at the northern gate. He now walks the streets unchallenged." T'Challa's brow furrowed. "Casualties?" "None. He fought playfully." "Now that was curious," T'Challa exhaled, processing the report. "No deaths, minimal destruction. Just a boy strong enough to overpower the Dora Milaje, and disciplined enough to spare them. Not an invader," he mused. "He must be a challenger." His father had spoken of such things, warriors who came not for conquest, but for the test of battle itself. Still, Wakanda's secrets were not for the outsiders. He tapped his Kimoyo beads, tracked his movements. "I will greet him myself. If this child sought battle, the Black Panther would oblige. But first, he would suit up." In the sacred chamber beneath the palace, T'Challa stood before the ancestral altar. The heart-shaped herb's power thrummed in his veins as he whispered the ritual words. "Bast, grant me your claws." Nanotech surged from his necklace, liquid vibranium weaving across his body like second skin. The helmet sealed with a hiss, its eyes flaring to life. Somewhere above a storm was brewing, not of rain, but of combat. The panther leaped upward, claws unsheathed. Let the hunt begin. Goku cracked his knuckles as another squad of Dora Milaje closed in, their spears humming with vibranium energy. He could already tell that these warriors were stronger than the last. Their stances were sharper and their eyes were colder. His tail twitched with anticipation. This is going to be fun. But just as he tensed to leap, a shadow dropped from the rooftops in a blur of black. The Dora immediately halted, lowering their weapons in deference as the figure landed between them and Goku with barely even a sound. Clad in an all-black suit lined with regal silver, the man straightened his mask, gaze looking onto the sand. The air itself seemed to steal around him. Goku blinked. Whoa. The stranger didn't move like the others. He moved like nothing Goku had ever fought before. Fluid, effortless, like the jungle cats that stalked the very savage lands, but honed to human perfection. The Dora bowed their heads. "My king." Goku's grin widened. So this was the Black Panther. The warrior tilted his head slightly, studying Goku with an unreadable intensity. Then, in a voice both calm and commanding, he spoke. "Do you want to fight, outsider?" He shifted into a stance, balanced, lethal, every muscle coiled up like a spring. "Here I am." Goku's blood sang and his tail twitched. The air between them cracked with unspoken tension, two predators sizing each other up. In the heartbeat before the storm. Goku's tail flicked eagerly behind him. His muscles were also coiled like springs. The Black Panther stood motionless, but T'Challa's every nerve was twitching within the suit. This boy seemed to be powerful enough to take down some of the Earth's greatest guards, so he could not afford to underestimate him. "You," Goku said, his grin sharpening. You're the one they call the Black Panther, right?" T'Challa's mask gaze didn't waver. "And you are the child who thinks he can trespass in Wakanda." His voice was calm, but the undercurrent of steel made the Dora Milaje tense further. Goku laughed and rolled his shoulders. "I wasn't trespassing. I was hunting." He jabbed a thumb at his chest. I heard that there's a warrior here who never loses, so I came to fight him. A ripple passed through the gathered Wakandans. No one spoke to their king like this. No one was foolish enough to even try. T'Challa tilted his head, reassessing. The boy's words were brazen, but his eyes bright with challenge, unclouded by deceit. Spoke of something purer than total arrogance. You seek to test yourself against me, T'Challa said slowly. Yet you do not understand what you are asking. Goku's grin didn't falter. Sure I do. You're strong, I'm strong, so we fight. He bounced on the balls of his feet, cracking his knuckles. Unless you're afraid. A murmur of outrage rose from the door, but T'Challa raised a hand, silencing them. His voice, when he spoke, was dangerously quiet. You mistake caution for fear, boy. Wakanda does not entertain games. Goku's tail lashed once. Good, because I didn't come to play. For a long moment, the Panther studied him. Then, with a deliberate slowness, he reached up and removed his helmet. The nanotech melted away, revealing T'Challa's face, regal, composed, but with fire in his eyes that hadn't been there before. Very well, he said. If it's a fight you wish, I will oblige. But know this, you will learn why Wakanda has stood unconquered for millennia. Goku answering smile was all teeth. And you'll learn why the savage lands couldn't even hold me. And somewhere in the spiritual plane, the white gorilla's spirit roared in anticipation, because a real battle was about to begin. T'Challa settled into a low stance. Claws remained sheathed as Goku shot forward like a bullet. The boy's speed was inhuman. One moment he was meters away, the next his fist was whistling past the Panther's jaw. T'Challa barely twisted aside in time, the shockwave of Goku's punch ruffling his suit's sensories. His tactical display flared with warnings. Impact force exceeds baseline human limits. Threat level reassessed. Goku skidded to a stop, already pivoting. You're fast, he admitted, eyes tracking T'Challa. But T'Challa didn't answer. He'd fought super soldiers and mutants before, but this boy moved with unchecked ferocity of a natural disaster. And this fight was going to be interesting. The next exchange was a blur. Goku feinted left, then flipped over to T'Challa's retaliatory swipe. Landing behind him, the Panther anticipated it, dropping into a sweep kick that forced Goku to vault backward. For a breathless moment, they circled, both grinning behind the mask and the other grinning openly. You fight like the wind, T'Challa remarked, recalibrating his stance. And you move like a cloud of smoke, Goku shot back, tail flickering eagerly. Neither had landed a clean hit yet. Neither had needed to. This wasn't just a brawl. It was a conversation in motion, each reading the other's rhythm. Then the Panther lunged, and the game changed. T'Challa used his vibranium reinforced fist, and it cracked into Goku's cheekbone, snapping his head sideways. The boy staggered, more shocked than pained. That hit had weight behind it, like a meteor strike. What the? He touched his face, bewildered. His skin had shrugged off bullets, yet his lip was split under his fingers. T'Challa didn't gloat. His suit's kinetic dampers hummed, storing every ounce of Goku's own momentum. Vibranium, he said simply, the strongest metal on Earth. Goku wiped the blood from his mouth and smiled. Finally, he breathed. Someone that can pack a punch. T'Challa's wrist flicked, launching a spray of razor-edged vibranium shards. Goku snatched in midair, only to hiss as crimson bloomed across his palms. The shards weren't just sharp, their edges vibrated at a frequency that split skin like paper. Goku stared at his bleeding hands, pulse roaring in his ears. He fought dinosaurs, out-wrestled beasts. But this metal was truly something new. The coppery scent of his own blood sent a jolt through Goku's veins. His pupils dilated, his grin turned even more feral. You, he laughed and thrilled. You're good. T'Challa tensed. The boy's muscles were building up a pressure like a thunder. Then Goku moved and the ground cracked beneath him. The true battle was about to begin. Goku's hand flashed to his belt, drawing a curved hunting knife Craven had forged for him. The same blade that he had spilled the blood of Savage Land's beast twice his size, more times than he could count. With the snarl, he slashed downward, aiming for the Panther's shoulder joint, and the knife struck true and shattered like glass. Vibranium didn't just withstand the blow, it repelled it, the kinetic energy reverberating back into Goku's arm, hard enough to numb his fingers. He stared at the broken hilt in disbelief. "That was one of my favorite knives," he muttered. T'Challa didn't gloat. He moved, capitalizing on the opening, but Goku was already rolling away, reassessing the situation. The boy's stance got low and predatory. Every motion efficient, triggered T'Challa's memory. Years ago, he had fought a mercenary in the jungles outside Wakanda's borders. A man who fought not for ideology, but for the hunt itself. "Craven trained you," T'Challa realized aloud. Goku blinked. "How did you know?" The confirmation sent a chill through the Panther. Craven had been dangerous enough alone back in those days. This boy was something worse. He seemed to be a superhuman with that hunter's same instincts. T'Challa's hesitation lasted half a second, but that half a second was enough for Goku to capitalize. Goku's bare foot slammed into the Panther's ribs, hurling him backward like a cannonball. Vibranium weave absorbed the worst of it, but the impact still cratered the wall that was behind him. Dust rained down as T'Challa peeled himself free, cursing internally. Foolish, never underestimate an opponent. Across the rubble, Goku cracked his neck. "You okay? Look like you spaced out there." The Panther's claws unsheathed with a metal sound. "It won't happen again." The Dora Milaje's discarded spear felt oddly light in Goku's grip. Nothing like Craven's weighted weapons, but it would do. T'Challa lunged, vibranium claws glistening. Goku parried the spear shaft, screeching as it deflected the strikes. Each clash sent sparks flying, the Wakandan metal holding firm where Goku's knife had failed. For a moment they were locked in a deadly dance. Thrust, counter, feint, slash. Then the Panther twisted, hooking a claw around the spear's haft. "Mine," T'Challa growled. The spear twisted from Goku's grasp, embedding itself in the dirt. But Goku didn't hesitate. As the Panther yanked the spear away, he had counted on it. Goku exploded forward, fist of blur, left hook to the liver, right uppercut to the chin, a knee to the gut that would have folded a normal man in half. T'Challa staggered, his suit's kinetic absorption overloading for a split second. Long enough for one punch to even slip through. The crack of vibranium meeting Saiyan bone echoed across the battlefield. Panther blood mixed with Saiyan blood on the battlefield, but neither fighter even noticed. Each of Goku's punches landed with enough force to shatter concrete. Yet the Panther suit absorbed every impact. The vibranium weave humming as it converted kinetic energy into growing luminous purple glow across the armor itself. Goku, lost in the thrill of the fight, barely noticed. "Come on, Panther," he taunted between blows, knuckles cracking against the black surface. "You just gonna stand there and take these fists? Why don't you fight back?" T'Challa didn't answer. His stance was rooted, deliberate, letting Goku think he was on the offensive. The suit's diagnostics flashed in his vision. Energy reserves 89%, 92%, 97%. A trap was being set, and Goku was walking right into it. The moment Goku wound up for another haymaker, T'Challa moved. His palm slammed into Goku's chest, not to push but to release. The stored kinetic energy erupted in a violent shockwave. A concentrated blast of every punch Goku had thrown was amplified by the vibranium's perfect conductivity. The air itself rippled as the force detonated point blank, lifting Goku off his feet. For the first time in the fight, the Saiyan's eyes widened in real surprise. What? Then the world went white. Goku hit the ground like a meteor, skidding through the dirt and debris before finally coming to a stop motionless. His chest rose and fell faintly, his fingers twitching, but his consciousness had been blasted into temporary oblivion. T'Challa exhaled, his suit's glow fading back to dormant black. The battlefield fell eerily silent. The Dora Milaje stepped forward, spears raised to finish the intruder. But T'Challa raised a hand. "No, that will not be necessary." He studied the fallen boy. Goku hadn't fought like an assassin or a conqueror. He'd fought like a storm without any complete malice, and that storm had passed. T'Challa tapped the guard's shoulder. "Prepare the royal infirmary," he ordered. Goku's eyelids fluttered open, his vision swimming for a moment before sharpening on the figure looming above him. T'Challa stood with his arms crossed. The Panther helmet revealed to show his face, and it was stern but not cruel. Behind him, the golden hues of Wakanda's sunset painted the sky, casting long shadows across the battlefield where they'd clashed. "You're awake," T'Challa observed, his voice measured. "Good. I hate to have wasted medical resources on a corpse." Goku chuckled, wincing as his motion tugged at his bruised ribs. "Man, you hit harder than a T-Rex." He tensed, the vibranium cuffs around his wrists, making him wonder if he could snap them if he put enough force into it, but he never tried to break free. T'Challa studied him, weighing the boy's carefree grin against the devastation he'd nearly unleashed. Goku was a paradox child with the power to level cities, yet no desire to do so. He defeated Dora Milaje without spilling a drop of their blood. He'd fought for the sheer joy of the battle, not conquest, and that perhaps was why T'Challa hesitated. "You invaded my country," the king said at last. "Challenged its king, and by all rights I should exile you, imprison you, or execute you." Goku just kept smiling. "But I get the feeling you're not going to." T'Challa's lips thinned. "No, I'm not." The same potential he'd once recognized in Eric Killmonger, though twisted into something purer, less poised by vengeance. "You fight like a beast," T'Challa said. "There's no discipline beneath it, but there is a code." Goku shrugged. "Craven taught me that much. A hunter respects his prey." T'Challa's eyes narrowed. "And do you respect your prey?" Goku said. "Sometimes," he admitted cheerfully. "But one thing is for sure. I respect you." For the first time, something like amusement flickered in T'Challa's gaze. He gestured and the cuffs clicked open. "Then learn this, boy. Wakanda does not fear strength, but we do demand accountability." He extended a hand, pulling Goku to his feet. "Next time you wish to fight me, knock first." Goku rubbed his wrist, still grinning from the joke. "Deal." And then he followed the king. T'Challa exhaled, the weight of kingship pressing upon him in this moment. He had faced threats to Wakanda before. Invaders, usurpers, men who sought to plunder his nation's riches. But this boy was something different. Goku had come for a fight, not a war. And in his wild, untamed strength, T'Challa saw raw potential. "You will stay in Wakanda for the moment," the king declared, his voice brooding no argument. "Not as a prisoner, not as an enemy, but as my student." Goku blinked, tilting his head. "A student?" T'Challa's gaze was unwavering. "You have power, but no purpose. You fight like a storm, reckless, untamed. I will teach you control, discipline, what it means to wield strength for something, not just against it." For the first time, Goku's grin faltered. No one had ever spoken to him like this. Not even Craven. The hunter had taught him to survive, to kill, and to hunt. But this was something new. "All right, Panther, you got a deal." The Dora Milaje stirred, uneasy, but T'Challa raised a hand, silencing them. He had made his decision. And let me know what you guys think of this episode in the comments. Gone.